Well, hello. This is Cloris Kylie, and welcome to the special presentation I created for you to show you how it is possible for you to attract the right clients without slaving over the computer and without spending a fortune on advertising. Let me ask you a quick question. Does your marketing resemble this jumble of wires where basically you don't know where it begins, you don't know where it ends? It's basically a mess. And if your answer is well, maybe yes, that's what happened to me. And that's why I created this class, because there is a solution. There's something you can do to actually enjoy marketing your products and programs and to get results as well. So I'm going to start sharing my screen, and here we go. We are in the presentation, and it'll be a quick presentation, and that's why I ask you for your full attention. Have your notepad ready. I'm going to ask you some takeaways, things that you can implement today to get results out of what you're going to learn. And it's only by paying close attention to what I'm going to say that you'll come up with those aha moments, things that will inspire you to take action and to take your business to the next level, okay? So it is very common to struggle to build authority and attract the right people. So if you've been there, if you're there right now, you're definitely not alone. And also, as I said, sometimes you put all these ads on Facebook. They tell you Facebook, you can reach anybody. It's true, but it takes a while to fine tune those ads. And then, especially if you don't have a way to break even at least with those ads, it's an expense that is draining your bank account, and that's quite stressful. And then at the same time, you don't want to be a slave to cranking blog posts, being on the computer all the time, while what you love to do is kind of neglected. You want to just serve your clients and basically apply your gifts, what you're brilliant at, and not spend hours and hours doing something that is, again, making you feel that you really want to quit this business. That's the way I felt. I was so overwhelmed, so frustrated, working 14-hour days and not seeing results, that not only I wanted to stop marketing, I wanted to stop my business. I said, well, you know what, this is just not for me. It didn't work out. I was in a place of complete burnout. And I don't know if you've ever reached that point. I hope not, because that would be quite, a disaster, because you have a gift to share with the world. And what matters the most is to build momentum from the beginning, because once you get to the state of burnout, then it's tough to come back. I did it, but I don't want the same to happen to you. And to build that momentum, of course, you have to build authority, and you have to attract instead of chase the right clients. And chasing the right clients is what we do when we, try to do everything we can to post on social media all the time. And, we do so much, and yet we feel that we need to prove ourselves in some way that we don't know how to show people that we can help them. So once again, that's why I created this class. And that's my promise that at the end, you will have a clear idea on how you can attract the right clients and build authority without purely relying on ads or slaving over the computer. Common things that you might be thinking that you want to do with your business is, of course, to be known as an authority in your field, to connect with those who appreciate you, can afford your services, are eager to implement what you teach them. And isn't that the definition of an ideal client? Yeah, that's what it is for me. So I'm guessing you want that. And then, of course, you want revenue to support your ideal lifestyle. You want to make an impact, but you also want that revenue. And that happens when you have that authority and you attract the right people to work with you. I invite you to stay till the end, because only if you stay till the end, I'm going to send you a PDF download that I created to implement the strategies that I'm going to share with you today. So it's something that I use in my business. I think it'll be super helpful, but it's my little bribe for you. So you stay till the end and you complete the whole presentation. The presentation is short. It'll be a little bit less than an hour, right? Like 1 hour. So it's definitely worth staying. And I tell you, I go right to the point. I give you the strategies, and I think you're going to be inspired. Now, that's my hope for today. And thank you, by the way, for being here. I really, really appreciate your time and your dedication. So I will tell you what happened to me. I call it from being a mess to a success. And I'm going to stop sharing for a moment so I can show you. When I first started my online business, I had been in business for years. I had run an academic coaching company. I had a roster of tutors working with me to help high school and college students get to the next level. So either get to college or to grad school. And I was knowledgeable about this. It was working for me. But then I decided to launch a personal development business online. Why? Because I wrote this book. And what I wanted to do was, of course, to promote my book. Soon I realized the book wasn't going to promote itself, even though I thought it was great. So I had to learn, how to do this. And the first thing I did was to try to share my message with the world once again and hope that people would find me. So I would write blog posts every day. I would create videos and audio. I would post on social media. I remember I had accounts on every social media platform at the moment. I had an account and I would post every day. I didn't have any scheduler, nothing automated. It was just me every day creating quotes and just really trying to reach my ideal client. And I was making a really small dent, which was so frustrating. One of the things I did, I created an online radio show on Blog Talk Radio. It was live. And what I would do is I would grab a book that had inspired me, and I would just kind of analyze the book and say, okay, these are my main takeaways, blah, blah, blah. And, I enjoyed it. It was nice. Some people appreciate it, but some people means, a really small group of people. I would have probably 20, 25 listens per show. And none of those listeners eventually became my clients. I was selling small online courses in my own coaching on personal development, how to overcome a challenge. So it was quite frustrating. And, I didn't know what to do. I was at that point, I was burned out. I really wanted to share my message, but I didn't know how to get it out. And then one day I was crawling through Facebook and I saw somebody was a guest on another show. Podcasts were kind of starting to become more popular. And I said, wow, guests. Why didn't I think of that? What if I just bring guests to my show? Maybe I'll be able to reach more people. And lo and behold, it happened. I started to bring guests. And not only did they help me bring more people to my show and awareness to my message, but I became empowered just by looking at their stories, just by learning from what they had gone through. And I became more hopeful. I would see a future for my business. So one of the first people I connected with, and this was actually before I published my book, was Dr. Wayne Dyer, and he became my mentor. I had the pleasure to meet him in person and to exchange communication with him. And, he really coached me on that empowerment piece. And I think that's why I didn't quit when I was so burned out, because he showed me that if I had that burning desire, I had to keep going. And I'm asking you, if you're here today, it's because you have that burning desire to make a difference, to leave a legacy. So you're doing the right thing. Yeah, you are here today. It shows that you have that commitment and you can do it. I tell you that. And then I had all kinds of amazing guests on my show. I had, Roz Savage. She was the first person to cross 3 oceans rowing solo. So she would have this, little, it wasn't that little, but it was a rowboat. And she would just row. And she did it for the environment. She had a cause, a burning desire. I had a Claudia Altucher who wrote The Power of No with her husband at the time, James Altucher. I had somebody I really admire, which is Crick Stewart, on my show, to a survival expert. I'm into nature and just survival stories. I think is fun. And then, I met all these people and I started to see results. I was connecting with them. I was actually helping them with their marketing, since I have a marketing background. That's my academic background. So I would help them with their marketing. I was learning so much about the online world. And those people actually became my first clients, right? The guests on my show. And then things just kind of skyrocketed from there. I connected with Lori Deshen from Tiny Buddha. She wrote this book and I contributed to it. So it was great. A lot of great things. But it was transition that only happened when I was able to connect with other people who had a captive audience, people who were called, but what I call influencers. And you probably have heard that word before. So I'm going to start sharing my screen again. And that's why I say that I went from mess to success, from being nowhere and feeling like I was kind of shouting my message out into the open air with nobody to listen, to being known, to being featured on all these places. And once I made a transition to go from personal development to marketing, which happened thanks to all these people I was helping, then I knew how to get my message out into the world. And then I saw results quite quickly just because I knew how to do that. So yes, the revenue in my business has dramatically increased since I learned how to do that. And the overwhelm, which is, I think is so important though, went from being completely burnt out to feeling like, man, I'm enjoying this business. I look forward to getting up every morning and doing what I love. And that's what I want for you. So that's why I created this class. You'll see how you can do that too. So I've structured the lessons into 3 secrets, and each secret has a takeaway for you so you can actually get results out of today's class. So make sure to have your notepad ready, okay? Because these are action steps that you will have to take right after if you want to make the most out of the session. So the first secret is that there's one strategy that overpowers ads and content marketing to build authority. And I'm guessing that you have a great idea of what that is. So let me ask you a quick question then. How do you make your purchase decisions? And if you're like me, for example, if you want to buy a book, then you go to Amazon, first thing you check is the customer reviews. In this case, this book I took a screenshot of had 3,600 reviews. So I said, wow, that looks pretty good. So then I go there and I see only 62% said 5 stars. So I want to know why. I check on the 3-star reviews. I want to get more information. Same thing happens when people want to work with you. Like these are a couple of recommendations I have in my LinkedIn profile. And why do I have those recommendations? Because people will check me out. Same happens with you. If people want to go to your website, they want to see something, they want to see proof that someone else has worked with you and they have achieved results. This is just another screenshot I took of a local Facebook group I belong to. This woman was asking for photographer recommendations. She didn't go, to Google and find a photographer there. She went to the group because she wanted to get feedback. And that feedback will actually make her want to work with someone more than another person. And it sounds like duh, right? But this goes deeper than that though. There's a study that I love to share. The study is called Decoy. And here's a screenshot of the YouTube video. You're welcome to go check it out. It had, at the time I took the screenshot, it had almost 11 million views. So by now it's probably more than that. But my point of this video is that, well, let me describe the study first. They had 6 photographers, right? And then 1 subject. The subject was the same man, and they just told the photographers a completely different story about this man. Sometimes, or to one person, one photographer, they said, oh, this person is an ex-convict, or this person has a terminal disease. This person is a grandfather, farmer, so they had all these different descriptions of the person and his personality. So the photographers had a preconceived idea of who they were going to meet. And that happens to people when they get a recommendation, when they hear from you from any source. They have a preconceived idea of who you are and how you can help them. So when the photographers saw this man, they took the pictures in a way that reflected what they thought about the person, their subject. And at the end, when they had all the results and they put together all the pictures, those pictures exactly reflected the description that had been given to them of this man. And it just shows you the power of that perception, right? The perception, the message that we get before we meet somebody really determines the way we receive their message. So again, same happens to people who want to work with you. The way you are presented to them will determine whether they feel that they can be helped by you or not. referrals, introductions, super important. This is a study I took, a recent study that shows that 80% of the people seek recommendations before they purchase, and that percent shoots up to 92% when it's younger people. So it's definitely important, and you know it. So introductions, referrals, social proof, that is the core benefit of connecting with somebody who has an existing audience. It's basically an introduction. So let me stop sharing for a moment. When you are introduced to an existing audience by somebody who's trusted by that audience, things entirely change. They say, hey, this is Cloris. She knows her stuff. Listen to her. What do you think people are going to do? They're going to listen to me. They're going to trust me. And that's the power of influencer marketing. So that is the one strategy that overpowers content marketing that you do on your own, and also ads in which you have to prove yourself over and over, because these people have no idea who you are, and you basically have to build authority from zero, basically. So that's what it is. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. So as you see then, influencer marketing leads to authority, and it leads to momentum to build your own platform. Because I'm not saying, hey, trust influencer marketing 100% and forget about producing your own content. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that once you have that momentum, then you can create your own channel. If you want a podcast, if you want a YouTube channel, if you want a blog, it's great. But first of all, you don't have to kill yourself trying to reach people because nobody's interested. And second, you'll see how you can do things in a smarter way that save you time and that allow you to build on that authority rather than feeling like you don't want to do this anymore because it's driving you insane. So see the difference? All right, so that's the power of an introduction. Introductions really help. And that's what I've done in my business now that I help people with influencer marketing, to help people launch their business online. Then I've been on several podcasts, such as this one with Phoebe Chong-Chua, summits, which have been great. This is one of them, the Book Marketing Summit with Karen Dimick. More podcasts, more summits, blogs. So it has really allowed me to build that authority and to position myself as an expert in my field, to grow my list, and to attract the right clients who already trust me from the beginning because I've been introduced to them. So see what it is? All right, so here's your first takeaway. So pull out your notepad or your laptop, your phone, and tell me one way in which you'll provide social proof to be recognized and I guess to have that perception that you are the right person to help people. Okay, so if you could complete the blank, fill in the blank. One way I'll provide social proof is, two different ways you can do that. It could be you could have testimonials on your site, right? You can have recommendations on LinkedIn. And if you have them on LinkedIn, definitely take a screenshot, put it on your site. Maybe you have had guest appearances already. If you don't, that's a perfect idea or a perfect way to build social proof. Just go on a podcast, write a guest post, collaborate with somebody who has the same audience, right? Those are ways to provide social proof. So think about that one way. And that one way, though, you got to be able to implement right away. So if you haven't had any appearances before, then think about what testimonial can I put on my site? Right? What can I do to provide that social proof today? Okay, it's important that you take action today because that will trigger more actions for you in the future. All right, so moving on to the second secret. Second secret is that you don't have to be famous or have a huge list or revenue to be featured and introduced as an expert. And that's something that I hear often when I start to talk about this influencer marketing strategy. They say, well, I don't know how to connect with influencers because I don't have 50,000 people on my list. So who's going to want to promote me? Or I don't have a huge business. So what do I have to offer? Or I'm starting out, nobody knows me. Or I'm in a different country. Whatever, I guess, excuse you're thinking, just look at it as an excuse, really. because I can tell you by experience that that's not the case, that you are ready to start building those influencer connections that will lead to that authority, right? You're ready right now. Believe me, you are ready. And I'll show you just the way I did it, right? So let me share my screen again. All right. So this is a picture of a TV show in which I became a regular. Basically, I had probably 15 appearances on the show. And the first time I was on the show, all I had was my upcoming book. It wasn't even published. And I had started that podcast, not a podcast, it was my radio show that I mentioned to you before. So I just told them, hey, I have a radio show online. And at the time it was kind of something new and different. And they thought it was interesting. So they brought me on the show. Really, I had nothing. All I had was my other business that was completely different. This was completely new business for me. I had just started it, but I had caught on the idea that I needed that leverage. I needed to leverage existing audiences. So I went and pitched the show. I got a yes. And then because I was able to offer value on a continuous basis, I then had the book and some more ideas for the show, and it was a good fit, my ideas for the audience, that's what I mean. Then they had me over and over and over. But once again, I didn't have a platform. I didn't have, my list at the time was probably like 80 people, okay? Same thing when I applied to post on Tiny Buddha. Lori Deschen didn't know me. I didn't know her. All I did was to go to the guest posting page. I saw the guest posting guidelines. I followed them to the T. I wrote the best article I could write, and I sent it to Lori. And to my surprise, actually, I was accepted. And after that, I made sure that I delivered continuous value to Lori to prove to her that I was a supporter of the site, that I was a supporter of her audience, and that I was ready to deliver as much value as possible. As a result, with the way I created a friendship, and that's why I ended up contributing to her book and many other things we've done together. She was on my show a couple of times, just because of that, though, because I was able to build that relationship. And of course, once you have that first appearance, that first guest post, that first collaboration, then more and more come your way. And that's how one of the reasons I was able to be on EO Fire. Now, keep in mind, though, when I appeared on EO Fire, it's not like I had, again, millions of followers. I didn't have a multi-million-dollar business. What I did have was, of course, the experience that I had already gained, but also a message that truly resonated with John's audience. And because I knew my stuff, like I had learned how to do these things, and I was able to send the right pitch at the right time, that made me achieve something that people sometimes spend years trying to achieve, to be on a podcast of this reach and this size. So it's just about doing things the right way. It's about reaching the right people too. Because if you want to reach somebody who's really not a right fit for you, for your audience, for their audience, then of course you will not be successful. So the right people are people who have the same ideal audience. So in the case of EO Fire, I was already trying to reach entrepreneurs, so I connected with him. When I did my blog post for Tiny Buddha, I was trying to reach people who were interested in personal development. So it has to be the same kind of audience. And it's important that you have the same values and style. If I hadn't resonated with the values of one of these influencers, then my message would have sounded fake. I mean, you know how it is. Like, people can see right through it, whether it is like they talk to you, your gestures, your voice, down to the way you write. The way you write a message on email, it actually shows whether you really resonate with them or not. And, now in my podcast, Beyond the Influencer Marketing, when I ask entrepreneurs, what is the thing that, created kind of like an influencer marketing disaster? What I hear over and over and over is, I connected with this person who I didn't really resonate with. It was the wrong match for values. And the relationship eventually became a disaster. The relationship ended. So that's what happens. It's important that you find people who really match your values and style. Of course, you want to find somebody who has a sizable social media following, a list, engagement, Why? Because, you want to reach as many people as possible. That said, it doesn't mean that you're going to neglect or avoid people who have a small following. So for example, let's say that you want to reach people, new mothers in your town. There might be a meetup that somebody leads for new moms. That is perfect because she gets probably 30 moms per meeting, and you're there, you're a coach for them, you provide value, you connect with your ideal clients. So the leader of the meetup group is an influencer. Okay, so I invite you to think of influencers in terms of somebody who has an existing captive audience, but that captive audience doesn't have to be of hundreds of thousands or millions. It could be as small as a meetup group, but the audience is engaged, because what you want is engagement, somebody who actually has an audience that trusts him or her, so you can leverage that trust. Okay, so I hope this all makes sense. And then there's one thing I haven't mentioned actually, and this I guess should permeate through the whole message I have for you today, that once you apply this strategy, you gotta always go with value first in mind. If you go and reach out to these people thinking, what's in it for me and how is this gonna help my business only, which you definitely have to keep in mind, but if that's your only thought, again, they will see it. They will see that it's not authentic, and they will not be, I guess, interested in connecting with you. You got to think, okay, how can I deliver value to this person? A little bit more about that later. So, okay, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Okay. And then, of course, the non-analytical factor that I call that is so important, and I wrote about this in my book, because I think it's just, it's kind of like common sense, but many times we override that common sense thinking that we have to be logical. But the truth is, if you feel like somebody's just not right for you, don't connect with them. Really don't. There's something else that people have mentioned in my podcast when I do the interviews. It's like, oh, something told me this wasn't the right connection, but I said, she has such a big following, I've got to connect with her. And then things didn't turn out so well. So definitely follow your gut feeling. So we talked about value before, and you might be thinking, well, that's great, the value, but what value do I have to offer? What is it? I don't have a big list, I don't have a big business, but I'm going to tell you, as I said earlier today, that you do have value to offer right now. Even if you have 10 people on your list, even if you have a beginning business, you do have value to offer. And I'll give you a few examples of things just to get your mind going in that direction, the mind going in the direction of, yes, I do have value. So your network, if you have somebody you can introduce to that person, maybe that person has a podcast that you want to connect with, and you have a perfect guest for them, then that's a powerful connection. Maybe you have somebody who might be interested in their services, or you might be interested in their services. I had somebody on my show who said, the best way to connect with me is by joining one of my programs. Well, of course, once you join somebody's program, they're paying attention to you. You are their customer. You're special. So if there's nothing you can think of, then definitely that's a way to get in and to connect with influencers. Your ideas. James Altucher calls himself an idea machine. He wrote a book about it, and he says he submits his ideas to any company that he feels he can help. And this is not just like an idea and one paragraph email. He actually creates documents with ideas, and he sent his ideas to Amazon. As a result, they had him over at Amazon headquarters to share those ideas. So imagine how cool that would be. Like, you send your ideas to an influencer, they want to bring you in because you really did it with the desire to deliver value. And that's what I was talking to you about before. Like, if you go with a value first and you kind of set your radar on how to find ways to deliver value, you will find it, and the influencer will feel it and want to connect with you. Endorsements, testimonials. If you've read their book, the influencer's book, you've listened to their podcast, why not post a review on Amazon, a review on iTunes? If you've taken their course, why not create a video, a testimonial for them? I'm sure they'll pay attention if you do that, right? So you're delivering value. You're helping them grow their business. And, your own platform, of course, if you have your own podcast, your own blog, then it's awesome. You can invite them over to be guests. Any influencer wants to expand their reach. That's why they're influencers. So if you offer them an opportunity to do that, then you definitely are doing the right thing. Products or services. And this is a surprising one that you might think, really, my products? How can they help the influencer? Well, if that influencer has a specific offer, so let's say that he or she helps people have a healthier diet to lose weight, but they don't have any exercise programs, and you have this amazing exercise program that would be perfect for their diet. Of course, it's a synergistic type product that once you build a connection with the influencer, it will be of value to them to promote that product to their audience and to maybe create a partnership with you. Why? Because you're delivering value to them. Remember, the influencers, just like you, they care about creating an impact, about serving their audience in the best possible way. And if you are there to do that, then you are delivering value. And then, of course, if you have a big list, if you have social media following, then it's great. And all of that will come once you start building this solid network of influencer connections. So I have a takeaway for you. And that takeaway is write down one influencer you want to connect with. So think about it. I'll give you a few seconds. Think about what that one person who would be ideal. The right audience, the right values. You really love their stuff. You enjoy consuming their content. Who is that person you would like to create a connection with or deepen your connection with? Write that down, please. And then write down one way you'll deliver value to that person. And just all the ideas I've shared with you right now, I'm sure you have something in mind. So write down that one way you'll deliver value to the influencer. And my challenge for you then is to take action today, right after the class ends, to really go and do it, whatever it is. It could be to share their stuff, post a testimonial, buy their products, whatever. Just do it today, okay? Get it going, get that influencer network going. And then my third secret is that to get tangible results out of all this stuff, though, you must have a solid foundation in place. So what does that mean? Well, this is what happens. I love Shark Tank. I always talk about the show. And sometimes you see entrepreneurs going to the show and they're not ready. They have a website that cannot support millions of visitors. They don't have the distribution system to sell their product. So they get all this exposure on Shark Tank, but they end up kind of going bankrupt, or they don't get the growth that was expected of them because they were not ready. They didn't have a foundation. So same happens to you and your influencer connections. Let's say that you get to be on the Today Show, or you create a connection with your dream influencer and they bring you in and they introduce you to their audience. If you have nothing to offer to that audience, so they join your list, right? Then what's going to happen? It would be just a nice experience. And as nice as it is, we're here to get tangible results. So I'm going to start sharing my screen again. And that's why I've been able to get all these results. I mean, it's not like I was on these places and it was just nice. I got results. One example I love to share is this woman, Bernie. She is in one of the programs I joined, the Ask Method with Ryan Levesque. And, she said that her goal was to collect 1,000 subscribers for the year, right? But now, to her surprise, though, she reached that goal in about 2 weeks. And how did she do that? Well, she got a guest post on Tiny Buddha, of all places. Her post was great, but it wasn't really the article that made the difference. It was her offer that went along with that article. She was talking about fear and anxiety, and then she had a download that was perfect for anybody who read that article. So that's having a strong foundation. And not just that, when people signed up for that, Bernie was ready with a series of emails, welcome emails, that led people to working with her, so she gained clients as a result of this. See, so that's the foundation. So what exactly are those elements of that foundation? This is something I explore in depth in my book, Beyond Influencer Marketing, but just give you a quick idea of what it is. Clear avatar, So you really have to know who you're serving so you can identify the ideal influencers. A compelling free offer. So whenever that person introduces you to their audience, you're ready with something that the audience will love and that matches your message. Now, when people opt in, you got to have a sequence, right? A sequence of emails to lead people to your offer. And then, of course, you got to have a unique value proposition that matches the needs of that audience and that matches also, of course, the needs of your business. You got to know where you want to take people from the moment they hear about you to the moment they buy from you, right? So having a clear idea of the journey you want your clients or customers to take is a must, okay? So I hope you're excited now, because if you do this, you will get tangible results. Otherwise, it'll be just a nice thing to build authority, but that's not what we want, right? We want tangible results. So your takeaway then is think of one action you can take today, to strengthen your foundation, your business foundation. So I'll give you ideas. Maybe your avatar is one of those that is kind of defined but not clearly defined. Maybe you haven't done a survey to clearly identify the challenges of your ideal client, right? So maybe you can just do a survey today. Maybe your products and programs are great, but you don't have a free offer that leads to them. Maybe you can strengthen that free offer, or maybe you can create a presentation that matches that free offer, or a free offer that matches your existing presentation. Maybe you got to make some tweaks to your welcome series. What is it? So think about it. Write it down, please. And then I invite you to really take action on this. It's only 3 things you got to do today. Just do them and you'll see how you start building that momentum and, start moving toward that place where you're growing your business and people are just coming to you. You're attracting the right clients. And I tell you, once you get that first introduction, that first presentation, joint venture, interview, post, whatever that is, then it's much easier to get the rest, as I said before. And this method works with people in all kinds of industries. And I work with service entrepreneurs, so all kinds of services, coaches, health and wellness people, consultants, authors, professional speakers, practitioners. Regardless of the service you provide, once you start building a solid network of influencer connections, you will see results. You will see it because all my clients come from all kinds of different industries within service-based entrepreneurship, and they have made it work. So I hope that now you are inspired and you realize that, yes, it is possible for you to attract the right clients and build authority without purely relying on ads or slaving over the computer. And remember, your 3 steps are: number 1, apply one way to provide social proof today to your ideal clients and customers. Think of one influencer you want to connect with and one way to deliver value to that influencer. And think of one action you can take today to strengthen your foundation. Those are the 3 things you created today. I invite you to really take action and implement them, because that's how you will see results, right? You will see authority, you will see revenue, and you will see the impact that you want. So what now? I'm going to give you a choice. Your choice is, do you want to say goodbye to all this craziness, the overwhelm, the discouragement, confusion, and wasted time and money that you might be facing right now? And you're ready to welcome personalized guidance, ideas, inspiration, actionable steps, support, feedback, accountability, and a safe environment, and focus and clarity to get all this stuff done? Well, I think I would choose the second. I'm biased, right? And I'm introducing this because I have an invitation for you. And that invitation is to book a chat with me. So it's my invitation to apply for a 30-minute client attraction consultation. And I'm saying application because, I only have 24 hours in the day. So I want to make sure that if we speak, it's because I have real value to offer to you in those 30 minutes. So what I usually do in those sessions is that you provide information through the application. I do my research before we meet, and then I basically learn about your business. And during that time, I provide suggestions right on the spot. And then we see what the best next step is for you. So my goal is to take you from point A, where you are right now, which might not be ideal for you, to point B, where you would love to be, and then show you exactly the steps you need to follow to get to that point B. And that might include working together, because I've been there, I've done it, so I can show you how to do it. I will show you how we can do that, how we can work together. But no matter what, whether we work together or not, you will get a ton of value out of that session. So I invite you to take action. That's your fourth action, and go ahead and apply for that consultation. I cannot wait to meet you in person and to talk to you, to learn more about your business. And even if you don't book the consultation, actually, why don't you send to me the answers to your questions? Those 3 questions that you had before, 3 questions, then write down the action that you implement to improve, to have social proof, the influencer you want to connect with, how you're going to connect with them, and then what you're going to do to improve your business foundation. Because I'd love to hear from you, even if it's in that way. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to create an impact and to help you reveal your magnificence. And if you're here right now and listening, it's because you qualify for your gift. So get ready, because you're going to get it in your inbox. I think you'll love it. It's a great guide. I've used it in my business, so I think you'll love it. Okay? So thank you once again. I hope this was super helpful. Tell me if you liked it, if you didn't. I love to hear from you. And thank you so much. And remember, every second of your life, reveal your magnificence. I will see you. Bye-bye.